Worldwide markets today, Renergen sold some helium, finally. Gold and top 40 at all-time highs. Budget, we're getting that 0.5% VAT increase, maybe. The Standard Bank AI participation note, and we've also got the Rand flirting with 18, MPC and FOMC later this week. This is Worldwide Markets, episode 623 for 19 March. I'm recording late Tuesday afternoon. My name is Simon Brown. Worldwide Markets, powered by Standard Bank Global Markets and Shift, the global money app, your go-to for travel, shopping, payments, and investments in the palm of your hand, all at the cheapest Forex rates. And we thank Standard Bank and Shift for their support of this webcast, podcast, or videocast. It's many things. Let's kick off with some movements. What do we have? We have gold running. We have top 40 running. Let's start with the top 40. It's pulled back. It got to a high of 82,378. As I record this, it's 81,800. This will be the highest close ever if we close here. This is a daily chart that we've got on the left there. If we zoom out to the weekly chart, we get some more. It's going up. And here's it's weird, I suppose. What we've got is a sell-off in US markets, pretty much Dow Jones, S&P 500, NASDAQ, all of them under pressure. And here we are, I was going to say it's SA Inc. It's about maybe 20 or 30% is SA Inc. trading up at all-time highs. And we've also got the Rand. And the weird thing with the Rand, and I'm going to come to gold at the same time as well. Let's start with gold because that's the screen that I have at this moment in time. Gold broke 3,000 for the first time last week. I woke up early Friday morning as I do every day for my show, and there it was, gold 3,000, just over. It was 301, and it slipped back a week. I thought we might get a little bit more weakness, but it has followed through today. It is riding just short of 3,030. This is spot gold. This is not the futures, which is what I usually reference on my MoneyWeb show in the morning. Where's it going? Higher. I don't know where. I thought we might see a pullback. 2,800 is certainly possible. Maybe 2,850 is possible. The story around why gold is running, there's nothing new I can add to that. I've been talking about this for a day and an age. What we've got is the geopolitical uncertainty, and gold is the place to be. Someone asked me on Twitter on Friday, would I be a buyer at 3,000? Disclaimer, my last purchase was at 2,865. There's about. Double disclaimer, I actually bought it in my wife's name. I bought a GLD in New York, so it's much like the GLD we have in the JSC, except it's directly in dollars. She's got a Shift account. It was nice and easy. I will probably add to my gold position. Will it be at a higher price or a lower price? Look, at 2,800, definitely 2,850, sure. But let's see how it goes. What I'm trying to do is keep gold at around about a 6 or 7% weighting in my portfolio. Sometimes it goes a bit higher, a bit lower. Days like today, when equities are up, so my JSC portfolio is looking good and gold is up, well, it kind of stays in sync. But if we see equities start to come down or gold start to come down, either of those could change the tweak. Gold coming down reduces its weighting, I'll add a bit to it. Equities coming down increases its weighting. I'm not selling at this point, but I'm trying to keep that floor of probably 5 or 6%. The other one, of course, and I mentioned it there, is the Rand. So we've got gold responding to geopolitical issues, and we've got the Rand saying, nah, fam, all good. Trading at 1807. It got down to, I think, 1802. Is that correct? In fact, it got to 180088 earlier today. This is the story of the dollar weakness. We have spoken about this as well. 1830, which is that level there, was absolutely the bun fight, has been all the way back to Q3 of 2022, and it is seemingly finally gone. Now, I'm not going to say that it is completely over, that we can't go back, but at this point in time, that is certainly how it is looking. And that's the story there. It's the dollar index. Where does the dollar index go? So my initial target was 104. It went streaming through 104. That takes it down to about 101, which is another, let's say, 2.5% away. And that then we'll see the Rand 1780-ish. That is my first target price on Rand is 1780. At that point, 1780, I will take some dollars offshore. For now, I'm watching and waiting. And it is that it happens in markets, right? Markets are weird places. And we've got the geopolitical issues, tariffs on and off. Is Europe going to be tariffed? Is it going to be 200% on champagne? Worries about the war in Ukraine. Trump is allegedly today, as I'm recording Tuesday, going to be speaking with Vladimir Putin. That'll happen later tonight, our time. We'll get a sense then. In the meantime, there's just stuff out there to be worried about for markets, notwithstanding elevated U.S. valuations, which is why last week I spoke about should we be buying some Europe. And indeed I did. It was my nephew's 17th birthday. Every birthday, Christmas, etc., I buy him some ETFs. I said, what do you want? And he selected China, Japan, and some Europe. So there's the three Signia local ETFs on that. So he got some China, some Japan, and some Europe in that regard. And I think this trend is going to continue. This isn't something which is sort of, going to suddenly disappear overnight. I think we've got a lot more of sort of the uncertainty. That's the point right now. That uncertainty is not going away. The valuations in the US are slightly getting better, but they are still quite rich valuations. Make no mistake about that. And that is what is bothering markets collectively, sending Rand stronger or dollar weaker, I suppose. And we've seen the US gold price, the US dollar gold price also moving at quite a clip. We've got an event coming up Monday week, which is 31 March. It's going to be webcast or at the Standard Bank head office in Baker Street, Rosebank, Johannesburg. We're looking at effective offshore investing. We're looking at US CITES tax. We're looking at buying those Irish ETFs. They're not tracking Ireland. They're tracking whatever the case may be. But what matters is that they are domiciled in Ireland and they are tax efficient. 31 March, 5:30 webcast or in person, justoneLap.com/events for more information and booking. So Standard Bank's got what are they calling it? A Standard Bank AI participation note. Essentially, it is a structured product. There are two flavors. Some stuff up front, 25,000 Rand minimum. It is a 3.5-year term. So it strikes in April. It'll then unstrike in 2028, and it'll be October 2028. So you get your money back then. You can get it out early, but you don't get all the T's and C's, and I'll touch on some of those in a moment. But there is opportunity to get your money out early if you need to, in the sense that it will be traded. There are two of them. Before I get to those, what do they track? The S&P Kenso Artificial Intelligence Index, which is a fairly chunky mouthful. So I went and found what the actual index is looking for. And there are two parts to it. Companies that are leading the way and building the infrastructure and applications that enable artificial intelligence. That would be NVIDIA, that would be ASMO, and maybe TSMC and many others. Companies that are adopting AI within their business segments to improve their efficiencies and expand their product offerings. That would be Salesforce, Microsoft, Meta, and others. So that is your underlying stocks in the process. And then, as I said, there are two flavors here. The first flavor is 100% capital protection. In other words, you put your 25,000 Rand in. Worst case scenario, you get 25,000 Rand back in 3.5 years. That assumes that the index is underwater, the Rand is strengthened, whatever the case may be. If you're, sorry, I said 100, 25,000 is the minimum. You put your 25 in, you will get your 25,000 back in 3.5 years, regardless what happens. And if there's any upside, well, you get that upside too. The other one is the capital at risk one. It also gives you some gearing. So you put your 25,000 in. If the index is stronger in 3.5 years' time, you get the index move plus 40%. So it is 140% participation rate. 100% means you get 1 for 1. 140 means you get that extra 40%. If the index closes down and it is less than 40% in the red, So 39.9% or not as bad, you get your money back. If it closes more than 40% down, you take the hit. That's important. If the index, and it doesn't matter if the index is 40% down next year. What matters is where it is in 3.5 years when it closes. If it is below the 40% down, you will take the hit. If it is less than 40% down, you get your money back. And if it is more, well, then you get a 40% premium. It's really, I like the idea. I like it a lot. And there's two reasons I like it. One is I like the space, AI, but also AI has got huge valuations at this point. And I'm also saying, you know what? Who are the winners? It's been NVIDIA. Is it going to continue to be NVIDIA? I don't know. I just don't know. NVIDIA will certainly still be there. Can NVIDIA 10x from here and become a $35 trillion company? It can, but I can't imagine many people are betting on that. So this gives you a nice basket. If things go horribly wrong in the next 3.5 years, if AI is a dot-com bubble, and ultimately the dot-com in of itself was a real deal. I mean, it was Microsoft. It was, we think of pets.com and pets.com, sure. But there was real stuff there that was happening. Microsoft, Amazon, all sorts of others. Yes, they were real, but there was a bad winter. We go into a winter, your money back. Which would I take? I would probably take the capital protected, and maybe that's just because I'm a boring oak. But the choice is yours. How do you buy it? If you are a online share trading customer at Standard Bank, then it's nice and easy. You just go onto their website. Don't do what I did. If you were in your tax-free account, then you can't see it. You can see it up there on the left. Nice and simple. Click through. There's the at risk and there's the 100% protected. You choose the one. If you're not at Standard Bank, you can still do it. Speak to your broker. Speak to your financial advisor. If you're not winning, drop an email to kevin.swartz@standardbank.co.za. Sorry, Kevin, you might get a ton of emails. Kevin.swartz@standardbank.co.za. Kevin can help you in that regard. You do not need to be a Standard Bank client. You do not need to be an OST client because, as I said, it will be trading on the JSE. So for that early exit part. The date is 28 March. So today, you've got 10 days. From today. From tomorrow, you've got 9 days. So you've got a little over a week. It's late next week. Don't leave it forever, but certainly you have got some time if you are interested in the note. As I said, I quite like it. And you know what I'm pondering with? I've got a smattering of individual AI stocks that I hold, the NVIDIAs and the like. And I'm thinking to myself, maybe take some profits there and put them into this. There are two challenges with that. Taking my profits, I get to tax it. And then in 3.5 years' time, the note closes. So you then take another taxable event. If you haven't made money, no worries. But if it's doubled, let's say, well, then it's a taxable event. And, then you will get taxed. Let's talk Renergen. So Renergen finally produced some helium. They found the helium a long time ago. I have found reports. I haven't been able to verify them, but that around 2016, they signed a deal with Afrox to supply Afrox with helium starting 2018, 2019. That didn't happen. It was beginning of last year when they were supposed to start providing some helium. They had some problems with the cold box. They finally sorted that. It wasn't perfect for them in the sense that what they've got is it is still they're having to put it into smaller containers, 250 to 500 liter containers, to then feed the big size container that was apparently a customer took possession of on Friday. The sense came out 8 o'clock Friday morning. It didn't specify who the customer was. It didn't say that the customer had taken it. They said the customer would be taking it. So, some T's and C's there. But it's a big day in Renergen's life that they have finally got to the point where they are producing and managing to sell some helium. This has seen the share absolutely rocket. 3 weeks ago, it hit $3. Today, it got as high as $9.30. Someone's tripled their money. The JSE was leaky. This stock started running Tuesday, and I was trading. In fact, let's go to a daily chart. You can see it started running on the 10th, which is actually Monday last week. So it started running Monday, Tuesday, then Wednesday was a big day, and then suddenly, boom, the announcement came on Friday, and then Monday was another big one yesterday, and so it goes. So what's the story with Renergen? The question everyone is saying is, should I be buying it? You know what's happened. So make no mistake. Bringing a mining project on stream takes time, money, expertise, and will have delays. It is hard. I mean, the average gold mine these days is 13 to 15 years from discovery to production. This is perhaps harder because it is gas. It's not gold. Gold is hard. Make no mistakes about it. But this is gas. And you've got, I mean, I've been down to Virginia and they've got this amazing phase 1 plant. So I'm not surprised by the delays. I am disappointed. At my last trip down to Virginia, I think Stefano Morano, the CEO, talked around phase 2. Was it completing or starting in 2026? I can't remember, but they are late. They are very, very late by any stretch. And that means they've lost confidence of investors. And what matters here is that the investors are not so much institutions. This stock is too small for institutional investors. It's lost confidence of the retail investor. There are retail investors out there who bought this share at 40 Rand. They are not coming back in a hurry. There are retail investors who went on the trips to Virginia. I was one of them. And they are like, no ways, like just not interested. In fact, 45 Rand was some people have bought it. So you've lost the retail investor. Sure, new folks are coming in, but there's lots of hate out there. You'll see it on the Twitters, and that is the challenge. Now, there are other challenges that they're still filling smaller boxes to then fill the main container. That's not ideal. They can't get their main size container down to the required cold temperature. I think it's minus 286 Celsius or Fahrenheit. Kelvin, I don't know. It is cold, and they're struggling with that. I think it is minus 286 Celsius. They are struggling with that. That is a challenge they still need to solve. Then they need to get to phase 2. And for phase 2, they need money. And for money, they need a NASDAQ listing. So that NASDAQ listing, look, it's a better listing at 9 Rand a share price than at 3 Rand a share price. But truthfully, you want that listing at 45 Rand a share price. So there's less dilution and there's a long way to go. I still hold some Renergen shares. I don't think it is a scam. Some people do. I don't think it is a scam. I am very appreciative that it is immensely hard to do. And would I be rushing out and buying Renergen at this point in time? No, I wouldn't. I absolutely wouldn't. My position is for the ones, so I've sold some, but then I've still got some left, and those ones are underwater. I think my entry was 14 or 16, so at 9 Rand, I'm still a heck lot underwater, less than I was at 3 Rand, but nonetheless, it is a very important milestone for the company. Let's quickly touch on Atlanta Fed. I spoke about it last week. I said there was a new update coming. Where is it? There it is there. It's just busy refreshing. So the Atlanta Fed does a GDP now number, and last week it was saying really ugly things. There is an update due Tuesday 18, but it'll happen way after I've recorded this. The latest estimate, which came out on March 17, Monday, is saying minus 2.1%. So still expecting quite a significant contraction for the first quarter. And you can see range of top and bottom 10 average forecasts from the blue chip consensus has turned starkly down. The top end, not so much. The bottom end has certainly turned starkly down at this point in time. It is still saying that there's a likelihood of a negative GDP for Q1. It's not recession. Technically, you need 2 in a row. And then we've got FOMC and MPC later this week. I don't think the Fed will cut. I think there's space for our MPC to cut. We'll see how they go. Our inflation data has been suitably benign. There's no reason why they shouldn't. That said, well, they might not. I mean, it is totally their call, of course. They get to choose. So we'll have those decisions later in the week. And then quick last point on the budget. We still got 0.5% VAT increase. It's not as anti-poor a budget as many are making out. Yes, 0.5% hurts, but there's some clever tricks the minister did. For example, no increase in the fuel levy. If you are a poor person, you spend disproportionate amount of money on transport and food, but you've got flexibility on food. You can buy different products. You can shop around. Transport is transport. You don't have a lot of flexibility there. The old age grant went up by 130 Rand, which is a giant number. Usually it goes up 10 or 20. Even the child grant up 30 Rand. So it's not as badly anti-poor. The problem is that the DA said, no way, Jose, are we voting for it? The GNU without the DA is 200 seats out of 400 in Parliament. So technically, the ANC can pass it without the DA, but then they need MK or EFF or one of the other smaller parties. It's not going to be easy. Will either the ANC blink and remove the 0.5% VAT? Will the DA blink and agree to it? I don't know. Important, it's 0.5% this year, 0.5% next year. And then our deputy president went and said it's only temporary. Come on, no tax increase. Actually, there was once. We had a wealth tax of a sort in 1994. That really was temporary. But otherwise, taxes are not temporary. I mean, really, pull the other leg. That tax is, if it's there, it is there, and it is staying there. Worldwide markets powered by Standard Bank Global Markets and Shift, the global money app, your go-to for travel, shopping, payments, and investments in the palm of your hand, all at the cheapest Forex rates. My thanks to Standard Bank, my thanks to Shift for sponsoring the show. It is great to have sponsors. We're going to leave that there. My name is Simon. We'll be back again next week. As always, look after yourself, and if you can, look after somebody else as well. Cheers all.